Morning.
Good morning. When I teach the female alchemy class, there's a concept around invalidation that I want to bring up because I've been noticing students' questions coming in around this lately. So the story that I tell is there's a little kid in kindergarten and she gets a drawing of an elephant and she has to color it in. And she loves it. She's enthusiastic. She's really in her space. I'm an artist, and she's actually scribbling outside the lines, and she's coloring the elephant in pink. And the adult in the room comes in and says, "What's wrong with you? Elephants aren't pink. You're scribbling outside the lines. Don't you know anything?" And she gets hit with that energy and is totally invalidated. And there's two ways, there's probably more ways, but the two ways I talk about that girl could respond is one, withdraw, hide. I'm not good at anything. Nobody likes me. Expands out into this whole thing that affects her whole life. And then the other side could be, the other response could be, I'll show them. And she gets loud and boisterous and ungrounded and pushing against. All from this thing, invalidation.
Yeah. So invalidation is really a big deal, and it's a perception. Invalidation. I'm perceiving that I'm not okay, and so a lot of times this is going to go different than where we started it out, I think. And a lot of times the mom, dad, teacher, minister who love you are wanting to create you in a safe and comfortable and well-designed manner and want you to be the best in their image.
Yeah.
And so they begin to create that kid in their image. This is what's right, this is what's good, this is how it should be. And let's just treat it as well-intentioned, not in terms of controlling or dominating, but
they want you to be successful.
They want you to be successful.
And this is how to be successful.
Right.
You color the elephant gray.
Right. But that what's wrong with you, or you're not doing it right, hits that person in a manner that becomes invalidation, and it becomes withdrawing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you couple withdrawing with all of those spiritual abilities that are on in a person who's in present time, observing their world, capable, certain, all of those spiritual abilities turn on. One of the big ones is clairsentience.
Yes.
Simply the ability to feel the presence of another person's energy. And that clairsentience works. There's a little radar machine in the second chakra that sends out a pulse, and there's a question to that machine. It says, what is that feeling? Mad, glad, sad, happy. And it's perceiving its surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
It's natural to everybody. But when you wind up in a place where that what's wrong with you isn't so kindly administered, or you're yelled at, or you're punished, or you live in a dysfunctional family where you're getting mixed messages all the time, what we do with that second chakra is the question works, what is that feeling? But we change it to, what is that feeling about me? Mad, glad, angry at me.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wind up trying to now, instead of being perceptive about enjoying and perceiving the world, we're now being perceptive about our own safety.
And defending ourselves.
And defending ourselves.
What's coming at me next?
Right, but a little kid, and even an adult in a lot of ways, doesn't know what to do with this. What's coming after that? What's the picture behind the picture?
Yeah.
What's the next thing they're going to say to me? And so what we wind up doing is shutting it down,
mm-hmm.
or at least stepping back and beginning to pull in and withdraw and hide. And so virtually everybody comes into mastering alchemy. I think everybody in life to a great extent, but people coming into mastering alchemy are extremely sensitive in life and are confused, because this is the beauty and the enjoyment and the wonderful things, and I want to laugh and play with people and draw pink elephants, but I might get yelled at again.
Mm-hmm.
And so that hiding is something where we can't go over there because they yelled at me once over there, so I pull back, and I can't go over there, and pretty soon I become one of these. and I have no permission, I have no sense of excitement or exploration, and I get shut down.
Well, one of the things for me personally, as I was that person, my clairsentience was turned on because I had to navigate my dysfunctional world, and also my clairvoyance was turned on, and I used both those tools unknowingly to make sure I was safe.
Right.
And for years, and then I met you in Mastering Alchemy, and I realized, oh, this is a good thing to read this energy, to notice this energy, and now I have the tools so that it's not painful. I don't have to hide. I don't have to avoid people out of this. Am I safe?
Well, right. So you had another perspective, or an added perspective. Mm-hmm. One of the things that happens, and I watch people playing Mastering Alchemy, when you begin to build that platform of understanding these feelings of certain or capable or kind or an ownership of this is who I am. In that ownership, you begin to also be able to be neutral to when that person's angry. They're not angry at me. So I'm just going to stand here and let them pass by. All of a sudden, you begin to discern and become more conscious of how to use those skill sets, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, whatever they may be. But that nature of hiding is something that, every time we really get into dealing with the eighth ray and some of the ways of unraveling all the reasons for hiding, people actually kind of break out and laugh at themselves. It's like, I've been hiding from this, all these. And that sense of certainty begins to be a state of being and a navigating tool. But hiding is a real thing, but it's usually a perception that is an unnecessary perception, but I don't know how to get out of it.
Right. And something I've noticed too with people going through that process of coming out of hiding and getting to a place of certainty, sometimes there's a overreaction maybe, where I'm not going to be a hider anymore, so I'm going to be loud and boisterous and pushy and kind of swing the other way before they find that neutral platform.
Yeah. And there's a whole other side similar to that too, is where little girl gets told what's wrong with you, and she steps back and never steps back into her power. The other side is really a fascinating one. It's, I'm going to pout, I'm hurt, I'm offended, but I'll show them, or I'm not going to put up with this. I'll show them I'm capable. And so she just simply steps back into her power, the same power that was enjoying the pink elephant. But what happens now is there begins to be a doubt. There's always a doubt. The one is, am I doing it right? Am I okay? I'm going to show them, but. And so that there's still an expression of hiding that's in the but. It's in the doubt. It's in the, am I making this up? Am I really just being good, but I don't deserve to be good because they told me I didn't know how to draw pink elephants?
So the doubt is still there whether you're hiding and withdrawn or you're pushing against and being loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And so it's an uncertainty. Am I okay? And I'm not sure I'm okay. I don't have anybody to go to that really says, oh, that happened, but that was their mistake, not yours. And so you go, oh, okay, now I can take a breath and let that go. But there is nobody that's going to tell you that. In fact, most of them don't even remember telling you about the pink elephant.
No.
So you are carrying your own hesitation, doubt, self-doubt. What I watch is so many people, when they begin to deal with that self-doubt, and they realize, I'm not 4 years old, I'm not 7 years old, in my past, those people don't even exist in my reality, and I'm going to choose not to carry this doubt anymore. That's an enormous experience, but it's a 1 second experience. It's like, oh, I'm done. And it's done. So, but that hiding space is something that has lots of different nuances to it. But it is really exciting watching people step out of it. And that sense of permission and you know, one of the things about mastering alchemy that over the years has worked really well, and it's been pleasantly surprising, is the amount of times that I say, can't do it wrong, can't make a mistake, can't screw this up.
Yes.
It's impossible to not be okay. And people believe me.
Well, and they're blown away by it.
Yeah, because that's a level of permission that nobody's ever
You
given
mean I
them.
can't make a mistake?
Can't make a mistake. You can do things that don't get you the exact result, but all that is oops, that didn't work. Let me take one step back, look, oh, if I put only a tablespoon of salt or a teaspoon of salt rather than a tablespoon of salt in my brownies, they would come out really good. It's an oops. It's not I'm a disaster I don't deserve. So you really can't screw this up. But we're so used to believing I'm not okay that we create those filters to perceive everything we do. And if I have doubt and I'm not certain, all I do is withdraw into a place that becomes really contained.
Yes.
We should talk about the consequence of that, especially in today's society, somewhat, maybe at another time, and that's called lonely.
Yes.
I mean, the statistics today of, 2 out of 5 people, adults, are lonely. Kids too, but adults, 2 out of 5. That's an enormous percentage of people that are withdrawn and lonely. And so if you ask the question, why are you lonely? If you really have the discussion and you go, okay, what's behind that? What's behind that? I drew pink elephants and they told me I wasn't okay. And so
that's a good one. Let's have another conversation about that.
But this space of hiding, if this has any, bell goes off about, they're talking about me, if you have that sensation, it is not a place that has to be dwelled in forever. And in real terms, I'm going to say this really nicely, it's a misperception. It may have happened, that teacher said, but what we think the teacher said, the mom said, the dad said, the minister said, one of the things I've also found over the years is if we could go to your deepest, darkest secret about how bad you are, the terrible thing you did, because everybody's got something they believe, and I guarantee you if we walked around it and came back to the same spot, and I don't say 100% virtue at all, but I guarantee you 100% what you think happened didn't happen that way at all. It might be a little inkling of, that was the blue light was in the room, but the blue light wasn't the thing that caused the damage, and it didn't happen the way you think it did. So if you just have the chance to kind of look at that, all of a sudden the reason for hiding, the reason for lonely, is not very far away from stepping out of that space. So
good.
we'll do that another time.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.